The video you're getting ready to watch is a body part control and a softening technique that I use quite often with every horse, no matter what I'm going to be doing with them, but especially if I'm going to be introducing a horse to cattle. They're essential elements to me to be able to position a horse so that the horse is always in the most advantageous position to make it easy for them to move with a cow, stop with a cow, do the things that we want them to do. And I need to have these the shoulders working well and the neck soft and everything real easy to move without any resistance from the horse, so that when I'm on a cow I can position that horse's body without them fighting me to get them in that position, which is going to make it easier for them to watch a cow. So as you're watching this video, pay close attention to my hand placement and where the horse's head is and how the face is in relation to the ground. And these are some parts of this technique that I think when you pay attention to them, help them to work even better than just going through the motions of doing them. I'm real particular about the posture that the horse is in while they're doing them. So, hi, Dennis here at Cappel Training and Shoeing. Today I'm going to show you two different exercises. The first one I'm going to talk about is looking where you're going. I might add that the implementation of these exercises can be used in almost anything you're going to do with your horse, especially in preparing a young horse to work a cow. These techniques will give you better body control and help you to be able to put that horse in the best position to be able to easily work a cow. Any type of riding, trail riding, going around trees, or just, riding down the road, we need to have control of those body parts in the best way that we can so that we can help these horses when they need us to help them. Now, today I'm back in a snaffle with this horse. I've been riding him with a bridle, and whenever you've been riding a horse in a leverage bit and you come back to a snaffle, they don't feel as light. They feel somewhat lethargic on your hands, and it just doesn't feel as well. So this technique allows me to be able to lighten the horse up in the process. Realize that primarily this is a technique to engage the hind end and give me lateral control of the shoulders, both left and right, and it's also going to soften the whole horse's body. So I'm going to start out walking to the left here. I've got my hands spread out wide like this. Before I get going on that, later on this fall we're going to bring you some actual cow working videos on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see how I implement what I'm going to show you today in that process. And I come back to it. It's kind of my safety net. I come back to when maybe things aren't working as well as they should, and I come back to this to refamiliarize the horse with listening to me better, giving me better body control, giving me more softness, a more willing attitude, which is everything that we need to be able to do anything with our horse. So anyway, to start out with, you see I've slid my hands down the bridle reins where I've got about maybe 18 inches between my ring finger and the horse's mouth. The reason I like to have the bridle reins that short is that I want to be able to close that finger and take contact with the horse and open that finger and get out of that horse. So I'm doing this technique mainly with my fingers and not my arms. If you're using your elbow to do this and pulling on them, you'll be too inconsistent, and your arm will it won't give the horse the release that he needs when he needs it. So I'm gonna start off. I've got my hands pretty wide here. I've also got distance between my hands, so I can move this one without interfering with the other one. And I think that's an important concept to keep in mind. Now, the first exercise I'm going to do here I call looking where I'm going. my clear mental picture is for this horse to look in the direction of travel and have his body not following along, but pushing his head along. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm riding. I'm thinking about engaging this hind end, so it is pushing forward, and my hands are simply creating a situation up here to where I can manipulate this horse's where he's looking anywhere I want it to go. Now with the looking where you're going, I'm going to start off with my left hand slightly behind my right hand. I do not have the bridle rein up against this horse's neck on the outside. So he's feeling my right bridle rein once in a while, but mainly what I want is that horse to just look in the direction of travel. Now if I feel this horse pulling on my hands a little bit, I'll just move that bit a little bit with my fingers and see him soften up right there. So if I add a little bit of movement with my fingers and a little bit of engagement with my legs, I've got the hind end now pushing the front end along. Now, I think it's important that I pay attention to his face, and by that I mean, is his nose perpendicular to the ground? Is his nose tipped in and maybe the outside ear tipped down? And those are things that I'm paying attention to. I do not want the nose to come and that outside ear to tip down. I want when he looks around to the left, I want his face to be perpendicular to the ground. I want this horse going forward in a nice rhythmic walk. You can do this at a walk, trot, or canter. So that I'm showing you at a walk, because anything that we can do at a walk, we can implement in all three gaits. But as speed picks up, confusion picks up. So make sure you've got this down at a walk before you try to implement it any faster. So as I'm going around here, sometimes I'll feel him pushing in a little bit with his rib cage to the inside. When I feel that, like right here, he's pushing in just a little bit to the inside, I'll use the calf of my leg right here, right at the cinch, right there, to get that front end to move to the right. I want him to still look to the left, but I want his shoulder to move slightly to the right. Now, not only do I want to be able to carry this on this circle, but I want to be able to go in a straight line and have him maintain that same position. You see the little bit of life that I've got in that bridle rein on the inside as I came across there when I decided to go straight? That's to keep him soft in the face. That's to keep him looking in the direction that he's traveling. So now I'm going straight. Now I've decided I'm gonna turn. Now I'm gonna go straight. Now if you notice that the front feet are on the inside of the hind feet, so that the hind feet are making tracks to the outside of the front feet right now, okay? And this will be what I use. Like if there's a cow moving along there and I want this horse to travel with the cow, I want this horse to travel straight across the pen, but in this position where his front end is slightly closer to the cow than the hind end is. The English world would call that a shoulder in. So we've got the horse now going forward. He's still looking where he's going. I'm thinking about softness. I'm thinking about keeping this horse driving from behind up into his face, okay? And I was able to implement that on a symmetrical circle. I was able to implement that on a straight line, and then back to a circle based on when I decided I wanted that to happen. Now, where are my legs when I'm doing this? Let's say I'm going to the right this time. If I'm going to the right, my right leg becomes my inside leg. Now, right at the moment, this horse is shaped up to go left. His rib is slightly to the right. He's looking to the right. So if I use this right bridle rein just a little bit, put a little life in it, and at the same time I use my right leg, you see that shoulder move over right there? That's part of what makes this a body part control exercise, is because we get to be able to move the body part that we want to move at the time we want it to move. And a lot of times those horses will have their hips and their shoulders doing things, and we don't want them to, and we don't have a tool to fix it. So this will be a tool that you can put the horse back into alignment as you're riding. So my right leg, my inside leg here, is right at the cinch. As I go around and I start making this turn to the right, see I've got a little life in that right bridle rein. Now see his hip going faster than his front end right now. His hip's wanting to swing out. Okay. When I feel that, I'll move my outside leg back just a little bit and catch that hip. And I'll ask that horse to keep his hip right up underneath him, like that, while he's traveling around. So what this does is it picks those shoulders straight up, and it gives you a nice soft feel on the inside, and it keeps you in a position where this horse is in the most athletic position that he can be, because he's perpendicular to the ground, shoulders are perpendicular to the ground, he's straight up and down, he's soft in your hands, he's soft in the body, he's letting you ride him forward, and he's letting you have complete control of his body while he's looking where he's traveling. That's why I call it looking where you've been. Okay? I might move around all different sorts of way up here on his back to help me get that body to do what I need it to do. See me set that hip to the inside right there? Now I'm keeping him soft right here on the front end, and he's going around. When you're doing this, these horses will have a tendency to want to really lower their head. That's okay, but I don't want to encourage that overly, because they'll get to where every time they feel your legs come on, instead of just moving their feet forward, they'll put their head down to relax. And then a lot of horses will get heavy on the front end, and the hind end loses its engagement. So I'm really thinking about mainly just keeping this horse straight up and down, traveling forward, looking where he's going, soft on the inside, doing whatever I need to do with my hands to keep that horse looking in the direction of travel. Now, as far as how far around his head is, that's plenty enough bend, but you can bring more bend if you would like, and this will increase your body control as you have more bend. Now, don't forget to carry this on a straight line, like I'm going right now, in a straight line. And then when I decide, I can turn. Now I'm going to bring the front end on around. Now I'm going to take him back out on the straight line. So you see, as I go each direction, I've got lateral control left and right of the whole horse as I'm traveling on that circle. Okay? So that's the that's in a nutshell what the looking where you're going exercise is. The second exercise I talked about doing, I call looking where you're been. It's kind of an adaptation of the looking where you're going. You see, we'll start out looking where you're going to the right, and then I'm going to have him move his head to the outside like this and travel around on the same path he was going forward on, but have him pick his head up, pick his shoulders up, drive from behind, stay soft in my hand, and look back over his shoulder to the left. While I'm doing this, when you're first starting and you pull on them like this, they're not going to want to do that. They're going to want to brace and push to the inside and turn away from you. So the right hand and the left leg can work together to get that shoulder to move over. The left hand stays alive like this to keep your bend. And when that horse has got that bend right there, the key to make this work is to let him have complete freedom right there. So I'll ask for a step forward. See that right front there leading and working with the left hind. This gives you really good diagonal control. Notice too that my shoulder is leading just as his shoulder is leading. My right hand is now ahead of my left hand as I'm traveling to the right. When I come back to the left, it's going to be just the opposite. Then I'll stick my shoulder out this way, and his shoulder will go that way. So that basically is a shoulder control exercise. It helps us to be able to help a horse, is what it amounts to. If we don't have the ability to manipulate this horse's body real easily like that, he's going to get in a spot sometime or another where he's working against himself, and we don't have the ability to fix it. So this gives you the ability to be able to help the horse to easily get his body in a position to make it really easy for him to do what you want him to do. So I know you'll have a lot of fun with those two exercises. And if those are the only two exercises you get your mind around and really grasp, I think you're really going to be pleased in how that helps your riding when you straighten them up and you're going out and you're just riding, and you want to ask them to do something. All of a sudden you've got a lot more user friendliness from your horse because of those two simple exercises. If you like the content that we're putting out for you, I really would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button, and stay tuned and keep watching for these cattle videos that we're going to put up later in the fall, and you'll see how I implement these two exercises a lot in the working of the cows. Thank you very much.